there's four things driving this kind of crime. Mass migration, drugs, particularly fentanyl, a feckless and cowardly police culture. They've, between BLM and long predating BLM, that kind of culture coming down, trying to make police politically correct peacekeepers instead of police, and importantly, a disarmed populace. And Canada is disarmed relative to the United States, but in other parts of the world, not as much. But just yesterday, we have a story about the federal government, Cory, trying again, I think a third or fourth time now, on their so-called buyback program. That's their confiscation program. They can say buyback, but they're not buying it. They're confiscating it and handing you a small amount of money. And it's not back because they never had it to begin with. This is confiscation. They are renewing their push to confiscate lawful weapons from lawful and law-upholding gun owners just as this kind of thing happens, and they prosecute the home and gun owner. Here's a statistic. So these 2023 numbers, the most recent available. The armed robbery rate in Canada is 59 per 100,000. So, Montana, just south of us here, 24 for 100,000. Now, I'm not cherry picking. I didn't go through a bunch of different states. There's way more variation in the states than within Canada on these kinds of things. I would hazard to guess that the robbery rates in California are probably comparable to Canada's. Similar political culture, similar levels of legal gun ownership, but higher levels of illegal gun ownership. Montana, extremely high levels of civilian legal gun ownership. If you break into someone's house in Montana, I'm willing to bet they're going to try and shoot you. It's just not worth the risk. Yeah, maybe the house won't have a gun, but there's a damn good chance they do, and they're allowed to use it. They have castle doctrine in Montana. So I think those are the four big things. It's just mass migration. It is the drug and fentanyl problem. It is a cowardly police, and it is a disarmed populace. And this is just the regime continuing to push. These cases where someone heroically defends their home, their family, their property with a firearm, it's bad propaganda for the regime because it says this is why you should be allowed to have a gun.
I'd be a bit more sympathetic to the police than you are. It's not that they're cowardly; it's just that when they do the right thing, they're not supported.
I'm not very sympathetic with what they did with me. I waved a cane at vandals and they charged me. I have no sympathy for There's a lot of good cops, but tons of them are cowardly and they're just towing a political line. I have no sympathy.
So if they're towing a political line, then there's a politician who I would like to go after before I went after with the police. Tell these people.
This is the discretion of the police. The police placed this charge. These cops are individually responsible. They should have their badges stripped. They should be able to look at them all.
You're not going to get the local alderman or councillor placing the charge, but it's those people that the police answer to. So if they're not doing the job the way they should be doing it, you got to go back to the people who pay their wages and say, we need more and better.
I was under orders is not always a good excuse. These guys, it is their discretion. The local alderman, the local mayor, does not say you're going to charge here and not charge here. They're setting the political tone and these things. But those police made the decision. They have the discretion themselves, and they consult with prosecutions on this. They made this decision. The police and potentially the prosecution, if they consulted with the Crown prosecutor, they are directly responsible for this, and they should be stripped of their badges.
We don't actually know who the intruder was yet, I don't believe.
We do. He's an offender who was wanted on charges with a history of this, and he had a weapon.
Okay, so is there a racial overtone?
That's an interesting.
We don't know yet.
That's what we have.
Extra points if there are.
The thing is, if you have somebody of the wrong complexion and you don't charge them, then, well, you've got a racist police department. So the police are, doing their doing what they do under some difficulties.
It comes from both sides. But as we mentioned earlier, the Eddie Maurice case, which was in Alberta in Foothills County where I live, there weren't actually, though some people tried bringing it up. No, that those were both white bread meth heads who broke off.
Oh.
You're thinking of the Colton Boushie case, which is another one in Saskatchewan, which had
some Maurice one, there was nothing of that there.
No, though some people tried to bring it in because they went under the assumption which is another area of racism actually that's
I misspoke on the Rebel Den earlier today. I guess this will have to do with my correction.
Yeah, well, those were kind of happening at the same time. So part of it was political timing because Stanley just got exonerated on the Colton Boushie case, which was a bunch of Indigenous armed kids on an impaired rampage who, one of them, unfortunately, I mean, it still is unfortunate, but got killed in that one. Mm-hmm. Eddie Maurice, though, the charges were laid on him. For those who don't remember it, he was alone at home late at night. He was the one person and his toddler was in the house. And he fired one shot, which ended up hitting one of the meth heads in the elbow. And I've been to his house. This was from like 12 feet away. If the intent was to kill the guy, Eddie most definitely could have perforated him a heck of a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. Either way, they put him through the ringer. They ran him through it. And it was, we were furious in our part of the world because this was our neighbors. You know, I mean, it's a 40-minute drive from me, but Foothills County, its neighbors were rural. And there was a lot of town hall meetings held by the RCMP to try and calm the public, and it didn't work. So the one at Prentice, right by my place, and when I was in it, and that cop got heckled a lot. They start the meeting by pointing out, yes, our average response time is 40 minutes in our area. So he's admitting that. Fair enough, because they got limited resources. You got 5 cops in a huge area. Mm-hmm. But then he says, so what you must do, and that's what I labeled it as when I wrote a column on it and came to the mic, was call, cower, and pray. You're saying if somebody's breaking into my house, I'm supposed to call you, find a corner of the house and cower, and pray that this person doesn't get in and doesn't want to do me harm, because they were telling us, do not defend yourself. Everything a person brought up, because people were bringing up, what if I shot him with a paint gun? He said, you'd be charged with discharging a firearm at them. I said, it's not a firearm, it's a paintball gun. If they think it's a firearm, we will charge you as if it was a firearm. This is the way their laws go. What if I stick my dog on him? We will charge you with assault. What if I pepper spray him? We will charge you with assault. Everything they told us was call, cower, and pray. And you could tell by the whole room they were saying, even if it was you breaking in, we're going to blow your brains out. We're defending our homes and our persons and our property. The police are disconnected from the reality of the homeowners. Now, not every individual officer, I'm certain many are very understanding that they would do the same thing if they were in their home. And there is a political pressure going on, but it has gotten down into a culture among the police too. And they jealously guard that ability, feeling it's our role. And even if you were put at risk waiting for us, you must wait for us. And that's got to change, because these shootings are going to keep happening. I know that in my household, I mean, if I can get the combo to the firearm safe fast enough and so on, it's going to bode very poorly for the intruder. We got to get realistic on these laws.
Yeah. And, but I mean, to Derek's point, much as I do defend the police if I think that there's political pressure on them to go easy on certain types of crime. The one that got me angry a year ago was the fellow in Ontario who said, look, there's a lot of carjackings, just leave the cars, just leave the keys handy where the thief could get it, and, but nobody gets hurt and there's less trouble. That is not a policing attitude. And then this morning when I was looking up the background of these incidents, I came across it's easy to find, but there's this video of an American police officer, I think it's in Santa Clara County, and he says, well, people are talking about whether they should shoot an intruder if they come in. We kind of prefer it if you do. It's a lot less paperwork. That's
because I think the chief of police down there, just I noticed because it came up on news searches and everything, is his name Cory Morgan.
What?
I believe it's Santa Clara, Santa Barbara, one of those two. Anyways, yeah, because he just ran for the position, because you have to run for.
Oh, so he's like
the elected sheriff. It was popping up in this scroll for this political Cory Morgan. That's not me. He looks like a good conservative, though, I guess.
Cory Morgan tells everyone to shoot the intruder.
Careful. Which one? I'm not far off from him.
I mean, so where discretion, the police are supposed to use their discretion here. The discretion should be, was your force proportional to the threat?